Everybody, thanks for watching. And just a quick update on people who send me emails about the Never Pay Again Self or lifetime membership. Friday will be the last day, the 28th. Next Friday coming up will be the last time you can get on this. This is it. It's going to be done because we're almost completely finished with everything. And definitely take advantage now while you still can. A lot of you guys have been sent invoices to make your final payment on that Never Pay Again Sell. Check your emails for the invoices or use the same link you paid the first payment with to make the final payment. But definitely want to get it locked in before we finish. So we're trying to get everybody locked in before we finish. And we need to get those of you who, want to be involved, and so we can close this thing out. So just to get that out the way. Also, my book. I know a lot of people asking about the book. If you didn't get the first copy of the Self-Inflicted Religious Deceptions, that's it. It's gone. They will never be printed again. And what happened with that book, I talked about before, a lot of the issues I had with getting the book out. And because of this, we couldn't fully edit the book. Like there were some misspelled words, just stuff that didn't make sense in certain places. Those of you who got the first round, there was a lot of errors in those. Then the book was corrected and edited for the most part. So a lot of people who got the latest round of books, a lot of the problems were solved, but there was still a little, few hiccups here and there. But that's what happens with books that's that long. And when the editing process is not, going through for months to get, it completely correct. So, I appreciate everybody who supported and got that book. If we got a signed copy, that book will never be printed again. It's done. But the second edition is available now. So the second edition is basically everything that was wrong with the original book, fixed one. But everything that I basically had to go through the process of getting put into the book, because if you're trying to get your book recognized or on a New York Times bestsellers list and all that, you have to go through the correct process. And you don't want to get sued later on for a book that's very successful and somebody sue you for, 2 words or a picture. So I took the, right steps in making sure everything was legally correct with my book before I put it out. And that caused a delay in the editing process. So, over 50,000 copies sold in the first one. Then you got a book that's never going to be printed again. So especially if it's signed, you got something cool. But the second edition is going to be colorized, it's going to be hardback. And everything I tried to put into the first one is going to be in this second one, which is what I tried to avoid doing this, as I said. And a lot of people were impatient and just wanted the book. So we had to put it out. So this one is, a lot of stuff I couldn't put in the first one. It's in this one. New photos, as I said, colorized hard copy. And I really wanted to get this book correct. And to get everything in the book. And we really just got approved for like the last few things. probably like a month ago. So the book is now available. And for the first 500 people who purchase the book, I will give you half off on the next 2 books that's coming up in the next couple of months. So you will get half off. You will receive the link before anybody else for the next 2 books, and you will get half off those 2 books. So first 500 people, I appreciate your support. I appreciate you guys grabbing it, and I will make sure you get half off the next 2 books, which the next book after this is going to be called The Perverse Psychology of Black Generational Wealth. So that's going to be the next book. And then the 3rd book is going to be Purpose and Spirituality, Escaping the Wheel of Reincarnation. So this book I'm really proud of because like when I'm doing this research, it's so much stuff that I take out that I know I want to put in books because it's going to take too long to explain in videos and a lot of stuff that I set aside specifically for books, so I don't make sure I have the same material in videos that I put in books. So there's so much that our ancient ancestors talked about, so much that the native people in America and all over the world, when you go and look, talked about the same stuff. So much stuff involving spirituality and our purpose, and they were driven by the same common thing. And I talked about before, I alluded to it has to do with up there. There wasn't a concern so much about jobs and works and so on and so forth like that. It was about your soul, spirituality, and everything involving out there. So a lot of stuff I put into that book that I really hope you guys get a chance to read it. And just this book, understanding the reverse psychology of Black generational wealth is a crazy book that, man, I just wish we could just get into every Black school, because I made this book very easy to understand and breaking down everything that we have been basically tricked into understanding about who we are, one, and about us being where we are. So that's what these books are about. And just looking at how they have been successfully able to keep us in poverty for so long. I mean, we got to think about that. And we got to look at the aspects of how, we are in poverty, and the only way we can get out of poverty is working for them or being in some type of capacity of entertainment. So a lot of stuff I talk about in videos, but a lot of stuff I didn't put in videos that I put into these books. And like I said, first 500 people who purchase this, you will get half off on those books. So look for those. Now, to get into this video, as I talked about, see my last 4 or 5 DVDs, I talked about what Joe Biden's purpose is going to be. And that's going to be to basically sink the economy. Now, this dude has a over $6 trillion plan. And he's $1 trillion into this plan, trillions of dollars into this plan. And then you couple that with the trillions that Trump spent, and you have to pay attention to what's going on. Plain and simple. You wonder why gas prices are so high. As you know, the dollar is the world reserve currency. So commodities are priced in dollars like oil. So if the dollar's not doing good, the price of oil is going to skyrocket. It's going to go up. So the price of gas is going to go up. And this is what we have been seeing, because you can't spend this kind of money and then have people who can speculate and control the strength of the dollar, speculate, and then nothing not happen to the dollar. So the dollar is up, down, stable, unstable, and going crazy because of the massive amounts of money this dude has spent. If you know people who get food stamps, they just got a super boost to their food stamps. People got thousands of dollars in food stamps because of the money he put into, for kids getting food stamps, the whole SNAP program, and people getting more money for childcare, and he's spending. They about to come out with another round of stimulus they talking about. So you got to look at all this spending, and you got to realize, even though they're talking about, he's going to spend $3 trillion, and it's not going to go towards the debt, which the national debt is at $28 trillion, and they're projecting it to be around 80 something trillion dollars by 2029, which would be 2 terms of Joe Biden if you pay attention. So in 2 terms of Biden, he's going to be able to, sink the dollar even further and cause this economic crash that is inevitable. It's not a question of if, it's when it's going to happen. And it's enough information out here. And yeah, you guys asked about the DVD is coming. The next one is coming. I'm going to be getting into the whole, stock market and what you should be invested in to basically come up off of what they're doing. Like everybody else has been coming up. So I talked about in the previous video, remember before when all this stuff was going on in the tech in the 90s, with the tech and everything with the internet. Remember in the early 90s, this was the same type of situation. Now, the distraction then was the wars, worried about Iraq and, the war on drugs and everything like that. It was always distractions. But in the midst of that was Bill Gates and IBM and all these other companies with the whole .com situation where we know the .com bubble, but we know the introduction of the internet and everything it was going to be able to do. Nobody could believe it. Just think about what we can do with the internet now and them talking about that in the late 80s, early 90s, and people were like, whatever. And they didn't invest. And those people who invested are billionaires today or worth hundreds of millions of dollars because they got in then knowing what was coming because they had information beforehand. The same thing is getting ready to happen with what I want to talk about in the DVD and I talked about in the last 4 or 5 DVDs. But we're going to get into this more in the next one. So yeah, I got you guys. But back to Biden. Again, as I said, what I've been saying to you guys is coming true right in front of your face. If you watch the last DVD, it's happening. This is his job. So, Corona is doing what it's doing. It's starting to level out. People are getting the vaccines and there's still more to that. So I don't want to get into that too much because I don't want this video to get taken down. But there's still, it's crazy. You can take off a mask and you don't have to social distance now if you got both shots. And we're seeing them talk more about the both shots. And, if you look at the whole thing that happened with the, concerts that's coming up and so much stuff is coming up and they're putting an emphasis on unvaccinated people. And you're going to see them, keep talking about that more and more, about when they show groups of people how everybody's unvaccinated. And that's going to be something that they keep putting emphasis on to try to allude to the fact that they want to eventually make it so you can't go clubbing, you can't go to certain places, you can't fly, so on and so forth, unless you've been fully vaccinated. So we're going to see what happens with that. But there's no reason why people shouldn't make money. I've been making a killing off of knowing what's going to happen and, just being invested in these stocks. I've done so well since 2020, and just understanding what's going to happen. And when you into this stuff, when you can forecast, you can see the trends and what they're doing, what has to happen for them to fulfill their agenda. So you can speculate what has to happen. And if you're an investor, if you're in the stocks, what's going to be affected and you know what to put your money in. So we're going to get into this. But that DVD's coming and I got you guys on it, as I said. But you got to look at that. And then now we have, which I know, I got all you guys emails and inboxes about the whole Stop Asian Hate thing, and how that spit it into all this. And it's crazy. And, we had to deal with all lives matter. We had to deal with that. You say Black Lives Matter, they say no, all lives matter. You say, well, stop Asian hate. Where does stop all hate people? Where are these people? And there is no huge, crowd of people, and there's no forums and people all up and down the timeline saying, stop all hate. It's stop Asian hate. Now, we have no problem with Asians. There's a lot of Asian people that marched. They had the, Asians for Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that. And we got no issues with it. We understand exactly what's taking place, but we also know, if you're conscious, it's bullshit. It's staged. This shit is all set up. And this is happening for distraction and happening to spit in our face, which is what they do. If they were going to just start attacking Asian people because of what's happening with the pandemic, which is dwindling down, they would have done it in 2019, 2020. Well, all of a sudden now, this is happening. And the movement has been, unscathed and just full charge, and so many people are behind it. And you had Asian celebrities come together for a commercial and say, stop Asian hate, and talk about their situations and their experiences and so on and so forth. But we couldn't get the major Black celebrities to come together and do a Black Lives Matter. And they didn't even have to use the Black Lives Matter slogan. They could have just talked about something else or said, stop black hate or stop African American hate or stop police brutality or African American hate crimes. And yeah, you had LeBron and all wear shirts, and you had demonstrations from black celebrities and so on and so forth. But we're talking about multimillionaire, billionaires, rich black folks that didn't put their power to work. They didn't say, we're not performing no more until something gets done. They didn't come online and unite as, get all the big wigs in black entertainment together and say, we're going to do something and we're going to make a big movement to stop this from happening, make them pass a law to, change the use of deadly force so that a black man running away is not shot 3 times. It's crazy. And nothing has been done, but stop Asian hate. They got laws passed. They got money. They got so much, attention put on this thing with little to no opposition at all. And that's the problem I have. Now, you're not going to have black celebrities step up and say, stop all hate because the stop Asian hate is popping right now. And that's what black people do. We want to be involved with everything that's popping. It's popular. So we don't want to go ahead and be the person to step out and say, well, where's the backlash for stop Asian hate? And where's the, stop all hate people? And nobody's saying nothing because nobody has our back. It's just how it is. The people who step up to support black people stuff do so for attention. They do so to get money. They do so for a reason that's selfish. They don't really give a shit about what's happening to us, or else they would have done something before something happened. And that's what it takes. It takes something to happen to us for us to come together and say, we need to fix this. But we got to look at the reason why they can say stop Asian hate and get no opposition. And we don't want to admit this. It's because Asians don't do shit. They contribute to the economy. They own restaurants, stores. They are law-abiding citizens and not killing each other. Their communities are full of wealthy Asian people. They bring Asian people over to go to school, and they contribute to the country and to the economy, so on and so forth. And we do nothing. We don't have Africans claiming us. We don't have an African country or nation claiming African American people as being from whatever country in Africa and protecting us when something happens to us. And that's the difference. And I know Moors are going to hop in on this and say, well, they have nationality and they have this. And this is why they get protection and we don't, because we say we're black and we're African. It's because we don't do shit that's not popping. If it ain't trending, we don't jump on it. It's just that simple. And that's the problem with us. We don't see what has happened. I mean, to me, they laughing at us. I mean, we did all this marching and protesting. And just think about all the marching. Think about all the people out there with signs, so many days of protesting, rioting, and looting that we did, and we still ain't get heard. These people stop Asian hate. They get laws passed. They get commercials. They get their celebrities to step up and say stuff. Asian Pacific Islanders and so on and so forth. They came together with them. Stop Asian hate. Stop Asian Pacific Islander hate. They got all this traction and push from one little incident, which is this whole corona thing that they're not even responsible for, but they got so much help because they came together as a people and they've been united as a people. And when they come over, their people help them out and help them get successful in this country. And we don't do shit but hate on each other. Like I was just saying, here you have black man and other black people. It ain't just me that's getting scammed. Black dude that's genuinely helping people. The only reason why I charge for my lectures, my DVDs is because the time. If I can give it out for free, I would. The time. It's the time it takes that you put into that. And remember, I was doing it for free for years before I started charging. It's the time that goes into it. And people still don't think it's worth $20 or $17.99. And this is the problem with us. We don't support each other on anything, even stuff that's good for us, unless it's trending, unless it's popping. I created a whole social media platform for like-minded, conscious people to come together and meet and talk about, conscious stuff, black economics, and so on and so forth. I mean, don't get me wrong, I got thousands of people on Merkabah Academy, but it's a lot of people who don't fuck with it. They don't go there. Now, when this new site is finished, I think a lot of people are going to come because of what it's going to bring. And it's going, if you're a black entrepreneur, it's where you want to be. When it's finished, you'll see it. But still, that's to my point. People don't even want to help themselves when help is right there because it's not trending, it's not popping. So this is the issue we see with this whole thing. And yeah, I know a lot of people upset with the Stop Asian Hate movement, but it's not going to go nowhere. And they pushing it to spit in our face, and they pushing it to gain favor with the Asian community for whatever they got coming soon. So we've seen this before, this whole thing with them. I was talking about with the Oscars last year. Oh, look at the Asian people that won the Oscars. And look at these Asian movies that's nominated for so many Oscars. Look at the commercials, TV shows, and all these, Asian people being put in commentating jobs now. They speak about it. It's crazy. You see it. So it's something that, what can we do? We can't do nothing because it's not popping. If it ain't popping, if it ain't trending, if it ain't a rapper or celebrity involved, we don't want to touch it. Plain and simple. So you're not going to see the people who Paul Moody, he just died. Paul Moody, one of the people who would jump up and say, "Hey man, what the hell's going on? We've been Black Lives Matter for so long, and Asians get one problem, and look what happens. Okay, we'll fix it." But we can't get the same thing, and we can't get it because, like I said, they look at Asians and see contributing to the economy, good, hardworking people, ain't doing enough and not killing each other. They're justified. We get murdered, and then they talk about our past criminal records to try to justify our murder.